Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another large block ship. There's yet again another very impressive one with moving parts that well look like they should just anger Lord Clang and blow up instantly. So this I'm currently standing on and I'm going to absolutely butcher the name of. It's called the Raktapakshah, which is this lovely thing all the way over here. So this has got gigantic folding wings, which I'll show you in just a minute. And of course you will see the spelling of the ship when I open the F10 menu shortly after that. Yes, it's a large ship, it features all types of thrusters so you can fly on a planet. It's designed to fly around on Pertam, that's the entire theming around this ship. And has a small interior, it's got all the basics that you'd expect, such as small living quarters, a nice little helm, and then a hangar bay for you to store a small little ship or even a land vehicle if that's what you want to do. But anyway, grab hold of my character, I'm going to come through the very front of this thing all the way down so I can show you the folding wings. So opening up this. There we go. Now we're going to come all the way up this doorway. And then we're going to come all the way down this ladder. Once we're through here, we've got a few more ways to go, but we want to come through this red doorway into this seat. And I'm going to reline the camera, and I'm going to press number 2. So what's going to happen now is the wings are going to fold all the way forwards, and just fan all the way out. Moving the camera down so we can see it from a different angle. So all the way over to here. Pressing number 2 again. And there goes the wings. I'll move the camera down slightly more, put on the lights. So there they are, all neatly tucked away. Pressing it again. And it just folds out in individual blades until they just stretch out into their final position. Go look at it from above once again. Pressing number 2. Folds all the way back. And there we are. And of course looking at it like so when it's tucked away. And then one more time for good measure. All the way forwards. And then all the way back. And that is how it works. See, it's a bloody fantastic thing. It must have taken a very long time to actually set that up, to make sure it works properly without damaging anything, or just, well, randomly blowing itself up. But no, it's really impressive, and I just highly recommend downloading it, checking it out yourself. I suppose what I'll do now is go like this, press F10, find it in the spawn menu, there it is, and there's its name up there. But this thing is 2,195 large blocks, using one hell of a lot of the DLC packs. We see up to here some lore behind it, and there's quite a lot of lore behind it. Down here is its general specifications, where it says it uses no mods. It does include subgrids, and of course it uses some scripts. They are not required, they are purely there for some quality of life. And all the way down to the bottom, there's all of its controls. So I'll go give this thing a thumbs up, run towards the very front, have a quick look around the outside, have a proper tour of the interior. And well, before we go any further, let's go and find that hangar door. It's now all closing up. Yes, like I said, we'll go around the outside, have a proper look at the interior, then go through the rest of the controls, and then fly around. I won't crash this one, because I have a feeling that if I do crash at high speeds, it will just crash the game, so we'll leave it at that. Anyway, for the very front of the ship, no, I'm not going to try and say the name again, you've seen what it looks like, and well, I've already attempted to pronounce it. But anyway, here we are for the very front of this ship, and this is what we get. So right in the very middle, what we've got is our gate block to act as the hangar bay door to let a small ship or land vehicle in and out. Down below it is a radar dish with a compact antenna on the end of it, which you can clearly see blinking in the red colouring. To the left and right there is our ion thrusters, which, like I said earlier, is one of 3 types of thrusters that appear on this ship. Anyway, to the top left of our hangar door, we've got an interior turret for beard defense, and on the very left hand side of the screen, we see 2 spotlights to light in the darkness. Below that, and also on the right hand side, we've got some flat atmospheric thrusters to help keep you off the ground when you're flying on our planet. Move around onto the side, turning off our lights. And here we are with our wings and how they've been all stacked up. Turn them on light once again, and this is what they look like. So we can see our wings are made out of one hell of a lot of solar panels, which should generate a nice lot of power for this thing as it flies around in the sunlight. But then moving the camera slightly further inside, through it into this section, we see how it's been connected all the way up. There's a rotor to actually help it spin all the way out. Moving down, we see even more rotors. There's another one, there's another one, there's another one. And then eventually we come all the way down into this section. We've got another one sitting on top of a hinge. That moves all the way across to left and right on a giant hinge, which will be sitting right there. But no, that's how it's been connected up, and how it's going to be folding all the way out and around. We see right next to it, we then got a stair block, and it's a bit of decoration. But then putting the camera even further away, and I might need to bring sunlight back around. Anyway, we can see some more atmospheric thrusters, regular one up there, some ion thrusters for your left and right. Up there's an exhaust block shooting out a bit of smoke. Then all the way across, down to there, another antenna. There's a doorway to get in and out with a ladder to help get all the way up with without using your jetpack. There's another interior turret to help protect up that doorway. More iron thrusters. all the way up here on this section, then you've got some antennas which have been partially angled by some hinges and firmly locked in place by a magnet plate right there. So looking all the way up, there's some truss pillars onto a decoy. Right next to it is then your antenna onto a column, which goes onto a steel block onto that magnetic plate. Over there's a jump drive right behind that atmospheric thruster. Then pulling away once again, we see some unfinished steel blocks right down there, or unfinished armored panels, adding a small fin. Onto this section, another flat atmospheric thruster for your left and right. Some white and red steel block in a very rusted skin. Then around towards the very back here, this is what's going to be boosting us around, and that's two large hydrogen thrusters. Then we see a bunch of small atmospheric thrusters help slow this thing down. Putting on my lights, moving further across into this section, there's your rusted unfinished armored panels. Down below here, there's the sign of the hydrogen thruster, as well as some iron thrusters help move you forwards as well. There's another one up there in a passage. Then pulling all the way away, then moving all the way up a little bit down. And there we are, how that's been set up. So we've got red lights on the back, and you've got a slight bit of hand skin on that side, but not on this side, to build into that more strap-like look. Moving across, there's the heat vents. Over there's your hydrogen tank, right next to our little angled antennas. Over this section, right next to your large atmospheric thrusters, we see we've got an antenna on one side, nothing on the opposite, then some curved conveyors link all the way across. Piston head on one of them, then we've got more iron thrusters to help move you down. Moving all the way across, the white and red steel blocks return once again, only on one side. There's the exhaust block on the side shooting out all the smoke. There's some windows in the top peer down into your living quarters. There's the stairs on your opposite side. And of course your atmospheric thrusters, the wings, and the spotlights that only appear on one side. Then towards front, there we are. Moving all the way down underneath it, past a little area, so that's going to be your bridge to actually drive it around, but see that clearly from the inside. Moving all the way away, there's your landing legs, which are made out of wheel suspensions with a magnetic plate on the bottom of them. Your 6 flat atmospheric thrusters that appear at the front of the ship. Across here, more iron thrusters, there's a connector to dock it up, there's the camera to help dock it up, large cargo container, more iron thrusters which you saw from the very back, and of course there's your hydrogen thruster once again with the heat vent on it, and there's the very bottom of the very back with our atmospheric thrusters to help slow it down. And with that, that's a very brief look around the outside of this gigantic ship, and it looks bloody impressive how it's been set up. Do absolutely love the wings and the front. Like someone said on the Steam Workshop page, it looked like it was going to be a modded wing set. To actually find out it's purely vanilla set is very impressive. The fact that it doesn't seem to have any issues whatsoever with how you fold that out, whether you're moving around, whether you're spinning this thing around, has absolute zero issues, and it's perfectly safe to use. By the way, grabbing hold of my character because it's time to have a little tour of the interior, so spawning him on the outside, here we go. It's now time to come towards the very front. We won't bother going through the doors at the back there, because we'll eventually get around to it from the inside. No, all the way across to here, opening up this, and dropping myself all the way down. So this is it, this is a small little hangar, so like I said, it's going to be a very tiny ship that comes inside here, and it does have a very odd, almost fog-like effect inside, thanks to the floodlights up there, which are absolutely blinding to look at, so I try and avoid looking at them. Now, moving forwards, we've got connectors in the floor to dock your ship or vehicle up to. They'll be surrounded by some barred windows. Across here's a much larger one, with some smaller ones surrounding it. Then you've got smaller ones again on the left and right hand side. Air vent to make sure you don't suffocate while inside here. Heat vent in the back. Red glow over there, and step 2 all the way up and further into the ship. For the moment, I'm going to hit this big red button, close up the doors, then the area should be pumped full of oxygen, and all should be ready to go. There we are. Let me just pass this section, all the way up, through into here, small little passageway, where basically nothing's going on. No, after a short delay, the script will kick in, and the door will automatically close behind us. Opening up this, here we are at the ladder shaft once again, dropping all the way down. And there's a survival kit in the wall to respawn on and recharge yourself. Find the way of actually tucking it away so it's completely out of the way. But no, here we are. Sadly to the bridge, turning around, here's your living quarters. We've got a kitchen block over here with a little counter in front of it. Over here's your table and chairs to actually eat your food. Although it doesn't really look too clean to be eating food off of. No, there's windows here outside at the beacons on each side. And then we've got a few more ways to go. Over here's going to be for your toilets. Opening up this, there's your toilet, there's your shower. Coming out of here, there's the back of your bed, so you can use this as a storage block. See, well, alternative to a locker. No, opening up this, inside, and here we are. Once again, windows appear outside, around in this corner, got the back of an entertainment centre, and then there's your 2 beds to go to sleep on. To the opposite side, through here, there I've got a little bookshelf, little desk to sit on, and we've got a few things going on. Now the text there is quite blurry, so I'm not too sure if I'm going blind, but that's just simply how it's been set up. No, we're watching a movie over there. And over here we've got a few little bits and pieces which don't do anything. You can't actually control it like that script to actually control different things. believe it's called the PAM script. No, these are here just for decorative touches. Anyway, that's it for this section. Hopping out of this, into here, and that's all there is in this section. So all we've got to do before we go towards the front is to come around into this section, into this sneaky little doorway, and this will take us to the door on the very side, towards the back of the ship. So there's a window pair outside, here's the doorway, opening it up, flying outside, and there we are below the wings. Going inside before it closes up, there it is trying to close up, and then there we are. And of course we can't open up this doorway until this one closes up fully. There it comes all the way down, and we can open up this, and finally head towards the very front. So through into this section, past our little inset container, which is called the cargo terminal. I always get that block mixed up. Now opening up this, and here we are at the very front, right below the very front of the ship, in our massive control center. But there's our fly seat, there's a bunch of button terminals, then we've got some desks to sit around for your co-pilot to sit on, and pretend to do some work. There's an inset light block giving the red ominous glow in this room, and to the opposite side, there we are once again. So sitting in this seat, looking round, that's all we get. Onto this side for the button panel, and here we are. So we see we've got our wing controls, we've got our antenna, and then we've got our turrets to turn them on and off. But we don't need to worry about that because we can control it from this seat, which is the main cockpit, and this is the only view we get when driving it around. So coming to third person view, realign the camera like so, it's time to go through the controls. When numbers move your atmospheric thrusters to turn them on and off, so we click that, move forwards, we won't slow down, but of course it's not going to work, so it'll only be when we're on a planet. But no, we can press number 3, which will be a master toggle for all your atmospheric thrusters. And while that actually saves you from a little bit of power, because you do want to rely on the hydrogen thrusters. Anyway, on to number 4, that's your hydrogen thrusters all around the ship, on and off. Same for your iron thrusters on number 5. And then we come back to number 2, which is for your wings, where once again, there it is, folding all the way out. And of course we can spin this around, move it like so. It looks like it's wobbling around, but it's not an issue at all. There it is folding back. And there we are. So yes, I'm just moving this up and down to try and cause an issue. But as you can see there, it's perfectly stable and perfectly safe. I suppose what I could do, because I am going to be flying around in just a moment, is I can leave them all the way out. And there we are. Anyway, number 6 for your top mount camera so you can see what's going on ahead of you. Number 7 is for your jump drives where we can jump 2,000 kilometers, which is bloody great stuff. We'll do that right now. Number 9 is for your interior turrets to turn them on and off. On to tab number 2, we then got your gravity generator on and off, your reactors on and off, your O2 HU generators on and off, your batteries to auto recharge, your hydrogen tanks to stop power on and off, your antenna on and off, and then once again your interior turret to turn them on and off. On to tab number 3, we've got nothing else, checking all the other tabs. And it's time to actually fly this thing around. So moving forwards in space, this is what we get, and as you can see we've got loads of speed thanks to those 2 large hydrogen thrusters at the back there, which are also greatly assisted by the small iron thrusters right next to it. Coming to a stop, however, as you can see, this thing is bloody slow, and we'll need to do 180 to make it stop a lot quicker. So here we come all the way around. And there we are, it's going to be a hell of a lot better than, well, letting it just stop naturally. Moving left, and moving right, we are bloody slow with that. Moving down, again, very slow with that. Moving up, feels about the same as moving down, so fastest thing out of everything by a large margin is moving forwards, so do be aware of that when charging along towards your base or a station in case you slam straight into it. Then that's for gyroscope controls coming into camera view, so here we come, moving around. We've got surprisingly good control over this thing. If I was to turn this thing then let go of the mouse, there's a fairly big delay before it comes to a stop, but it still feels quite responsive for such a large ship, even more so due to how the wings have been set up and how many issues they can create, or at least what I've experienced in the past, with moving parts. As for that, that's pretty much it for this ship. It's a fantastic looking ship and I just highly recommend downloading it and checking it out yourself. The only thing left to do I can think of is taking it down to a planet to see how it behaves on there. So with this, flying all the way over to the nearest planet. So here we are at Earth once again, and we don't want to be in the ground, but that should do quite nicely. Dropping it down, here we are, and then moving forwards once again. Come to a stop. It's a lot better than being in space, so there is that. And of course we can still do 180 very, very quickly to make it stop a lot quicker. There we are. But yes, as I was saying, it's a fantastic looking ship. You can fly it through space, fly it on a planet. It is designed to be on Pertam, that's the entire theming of this ship. Again, I highly recommend downloading it and checking it out yourself because the moving wings are just absolutely glorious to experience. And once again, they are perfectly safe and don't seem to cause any issues whatsoever. So be linked to the description below to which you download Player itself. Highly recommend you do. I'll be back with another video somewhere soon. Bye bye.